Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Sun shining. It is super hot. Feels like Florida. All that humidity. But it isn't. It is here at the Kentucky home of Yarn Spinner's Tales. And I'm going to spin the last two bats of the never ending CVM. I did some measuring up. I am going to meet the sweater spin goal easily. I'm quite excited about that. And all I have to do is play it. Now, I'm going to be spinning on the Nano just so I can say I spin every day tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. All right. Or maybe I'll find something else on the Roberta, but I won't be playing on the stream. I want to be spinning on the stream because that's what this is all about, spinning. So anyway, I did not exactly get on at 3 o'clock, which was my goal. And then when I got home, I was home at 1:30 and I thought, oh, I'll get on at 2 o'clock. And I decided, well, I'll just make a quick call to my mom before I get on the stream. And we talked until 10 after 3. We talked for an hour and a half. She had a lot to talk about. So anyway, here I am now. Yay. Let's get spinning. Since, to be honest with you, I don't have much to tell you. I mean, come on. Every day of the Tour de France, with the exception of the 2 rest days, I've been here talking. And I'm kind of talked out. Starting to get real talked out. I can't hear the music very well. I have it turned down. I know that in general you can hear it pretty good though. And I'm trying their new meditation channel. So hopefully it doesn't put you to sleep. But I was in the mood for something calming and quiet today. All right, all systems go. Let me get some fiber though. Here they are, the last 2 bats. This is it. I have this is second skein of what I plied the other day. Oh, sorry about that. I just hit the mic. So I have these 2 skeins. And this is a smaller one. It's not quite 60 yards. So I have 3 skeins, and let me tell you, this is for a sweater spin, but I truly don't know that even the 2 colors of this is going to be enough yarn for a sweater, but it's going to meet the weight requirement for the Team Twitch sweater spin submission. So it's going to meet the weight easily. The thing is, I am going to be making an Aran sweater, and I don't, because this is Aran weight, and I really don't know how much yardage I'm going to have compared to what I actually spun. And I'll figure that out as I, 1, look at patterns, 2, do a swatch, and 3, knit a sweater, find out I don't have enough, frog it, knit another one, etc., etc. It's all about spinning a certain weight during the 3 weeks of the Tour de France. I just realized my hand carders are over there in the basket. This is the bobbin where I don't know, maybe I won't spin all the extra little bits that I have left until I ply. Then I can even up bobbins if I'm got leftovers. That might be the plan. Maybe I'll wait, card it up and spin it on something else later, because I don't really I know that, well, I'm going to weigh the skeins of yarn. Let me put it that way. That's what I'm really trying to say. I'm going to weigh the skeins of yarn, make sure I meet the gram requirement, which is 500 grams, and go from there. If I have to spin some more, I got a little bit. If I only have to spin a little bit, I got it. If I have to spin a lot, I won't have made the goal. All right, let's take that down. So my one and only complaint today is I am very, very, very tired. Just sort of physically exhausted. You know, they keep saying I've run out of spoons, and that's exactly what I'm saying, although truly it has nothing to do with my silverware drawer. It has everything to do with it. My energy is gone right now. Need a little more speed. I did expend what energy I had this morning by going to the water aerobics class, and that's a really, really good thing. I need to get back in that habit. So I went. Weather was perfect. Class was perfect. I'm glad I did it. I have a rattly bobbin. Hopefully it's not too bad on the string. Okay, I'm going to turn the music up. Hi, Kay. A little bit. I need to set pretzel so I can see what it's doing here. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. How are you today, Kay? I'm so glad you stopped by. You're such a faithful viewer. You're always here. It's so nice. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm having a tough day. This is my therapy right here. Streaming and spinning. You enjoy the spinning and the company. Yes. I do too. It's going to be kind of hard going back to 3 days a week. But hubby's been very tolerant. And he's like, this is your last week, right? And I'm like, yes. This is the last week for every day. Before I got on earlier, we ran into the closest town and gas station, fill up the gas cans for the lawnmower, and fill up my car too. And anyway, when you're at a gas station, you're under a cover, and we're all done, and we drive out, and it's raining. It was like, oh, I couldn't even tell it was raining. So it was raining, and we drove down the street not more than a quarter mile, and it wasn't raining. It was raining one side of the town and not the other. It's a very small town. Very, very small town. And sunshine here. It never rained here. Hi, Veggie. Kay says, I'm doing pretty good. Applied some of the Jacob and winding it off before I spin the last little bit. Are you the one that's saying, I love Jacob, I need more? I love Jacob too. I mean, I really do like that fiber. Whoever was saying that's right on. I think it's a great fiber. Of course, it'll vary. You know, every sheep has different, depending on their nutrition and what pasture they're on and what they're getting fed. Their genetics, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's a good wool to work with. What are you up to, Veggie? I need to weigh the skeins after I get implied, but I'm 200 grams over that required 500 grams for the sweater spin. So I'm all happy about that. I would say the 2-ply yarn's gonna most certainly meet the weight. I am throwing away some fiber, but because I had weighed all the fiber for these 3 weeks, I had it written down and everything, but I never really did any totaling. I just did what each bat weighed and that sort of thing. And I was working in ounces. Right, so I had to convert it to grams and make sure that I was getting close to the goal, and I am. I'm gonna be fine. Just have to get it plied and posted. And I will have spun everything I said I was going to spin, so that means I met my goal. My understanding is, of course, makes you eligible for prizes, but if you win in one category, you don't win in the other, so you only win in one category, and that's all right. I don't mind that. Share the prizes. Veggie says, not much at the moment. Might ply the Rainbow Falkland, since that's now done. Or I might start on Fiber Mage's braid. I know. This is it. Except for plying. And I'm not going to ply on stream, so I'll be spinning silk on the Nano after I do this. Dyed silk, in fact. It's what a treat that's gonna be. That's like my victory lap, you know? My victory lap fiber. Oh my goodness, this just is pick, pick, pick. I'm just tired of picking. I think I'm going to spin early in the morning tomorrow morning, and probably I have no idea on Saturday. They obviously are not setting up any kind of raid train, and I totally understand the moderators of the Team Twitch, but I kind of keep my eye on who's streaming when, and if I started out in the morning, it seems like it's fallen into that pattern where morning is actually better. And the only one I won't change is I won't change Sunday afternoon, because I've been streaming at Sunday afternoon for the whole time, so I don't want to change that. I saw baby ducks today, not the teenager ones that I talked about earlier. So we had a wild duck make a nest in one of our trees, and those hatched the first part of May, and they're weeks old, right? And they're like teenage size, right? They're not quite adult size, but they are definitely not chicks. Well, today there was another duck at the lake across the street, and I saw it when I went out to go to town. She had a brood behind her that had more than, like, probably a dozen. There were baby chicks everywhere. It looked like a duck daycare, a baby duck daycare. They were just running all over that yard everywhere. They're so adorable. I see all this stuff living out here in the country. I see stuff when I was riding the mower and mowing, and I don't have a camera, right? I was like, oh, I need to take a picture of that, and I don't have a camera. It Stuff happens fast, and that. Now, I did take a picture of a really cool moth. If you guys remember, a while ago, I had posted a picture of a wild silk moth. Well, that was unusual. I mean, it's possible for it to be in this area, but it was unusual. Well, I had another one that this is an area for it, but I don't think I've ever seen it in this area before, and it's called an imperial moth, and it's yellow and brown. It's so cool. It really is. So I'm not real sure what's up with the moth population this year. There just seems to be more of them than I'm accustomed to. This moth had parked itself on my screen door, out my back porch screen door. And that's the door I go out to get to the car, and I was going out to go to the water aquatics class when I saw it. That's how I saw it. Well, what happened was when I opened the screen door, for whatever reason, the wind caught it or it lost its grip on the screen door and it went down onto the steps, on the back steps. So I avoided walking on it, and when I was coming back, I had my phone and I took a picture of it. But he's on the steps, and I'm like, dude, you really need to be a better place, and I do walk with a cane, and I had the cane, and I'm not going to stoop down and pick up the moth. So I'm just taking my cane and kind of going here, scooch, scooch, scooch. And oh no, this moth goes and clutches onto the end of my cane on the tip. I can't put my cane down, which is fine. I'm holding on to something else, but I was like, no, dude, that's not a good place. I was going to put you in this really nice patch of grass, We worked it out. I did get him eventually. I had to kind of take my finger like this on the end of the cane and unhook his feet a little bit, and he gentled down into the grass. I believe it, unfortunately, at that point in time, if they've mated or laid their eggs, they're pretty well done. It was still alive, but they're in life, unfortunately. But I got a picture, and I looked it up. Good old Google, and they said it was an imperial moth. So I've seen another one this year that's new to the area, new to my house. This was a fat bat. A lot of fiber in it. Uh, is it Patty Lynn? Is that all right? Or Pat? Or anyway, welcome. And you've never seen electric spinner? It does go fast. Plus, I am spinning thicker. I'm not spinning real thin. So, it the spinner goes fast, but also getting through the fiber goes pretty fast too. Veggie, to answer, I did not use a blending board. I have a Patrick Green drum carder. So those are drum carded bats. They're about 1 ounce in. They vary whether it's, whether it's got how much fiber it's got on it, but they vary between a little under and a little over 1 ounce per bat. Because the drum's pretty big. Yeah, I have one. I gave it a real good workout before Turtle Fleece. I did, oh, let's see, 6, 12, about 22 bats. To spin during the Tour de France, Tour Fleece. No, I'm not muted. I just have nothing to say today. It is that kind of day. Nothing I can think to talk about. Except I'm kind of wishing I had stopped at Sonic like I thought about when I was in our little town and gotten the cherry limeade that I love. Sounds so good. Or ocean water. I haven't had that. Is that a Sonic thing? I'm just so fond of cherry limeades that I tried to make it at home too, but it wasn't the same. Kay says, I learned today the nano messes with my TV antenna. Oh, what? That was fun. Oh, that sounds good. Yes. It's Sprite and coconut. The ocean water is Sprite and coconut? Oh. Oh, that does sound good. I think that was the reason my cherry limeade didn't taste the same. I was using, I think I was using club soda when I tried it, but I also have tried it with 7 Up. I think it's the Sprite. I think they use Sprite with that too. I don't I don't buy Sprite. I could, but I just don't. I very seldom have any kind of carbonated beverage. My husband drinks a fair amount of Coke or Pepsi, one of the two, but I don't. Once in a while, I'll get a Dr. Pepper in when they have it. I want to say on tap, but you know what I mean. I don't buy it in the cans. I buy it from a drive-through. Veggie says 6.0 and Case says the 1.1. I spent 10 minutes turning it on and off randomly to make sure it wasn't the weather. And Veggie says, now I want to mess with my TVs for science. Case says, I wasn't very invested in what I was watching anyway. And science, yes. Let's hear it for science. Why would it have a TV signal? Or okay, that's just kind of weird. I'll have to try it. I haven't spun outside of here, which is the computer room. My TV is way in the living room. I haven't tried it. Because I'm sure that's what I have. The same thing. Now, we don't have an antenna. I have dish, which is satellite, so that's totally different. I don't think it'll matter for that. We have to do something that points into the sky or runs a line in like cable because we live in a valley and our cell phone service and all of that, if it can't rely on going through the air, because it would just go right overhead and right over us. Won't drop down the valley. But the satellite dish works real good because they can point that to the sky. To the satellite, obviously. That didn't work. Let's try that again. What's going on here? Oh, but now we need to know for science? Yeah. All right. But not until after the tour, because I don't want to move it. It's going to be what I use tomorrow. And it's all set up in here. So I will have used 3 of my wheels. 3 of my 4. I will not use the Ashford during the tour. Thought I might get to it, but it's a treadle, so I'm avoiding the treadles right now, so I won't get to that. Sticking with the electrics right now. Kay says the antenna on the other end of the room, and I haven't noticed it interfering before, but wasn't paying attention either. Yeah. Do you get static on the... do you get... What do you get on your screen? White static noise kind of thing? Or do you lose the signal? So you don't see a picture at all? Do you get a line bumping up and down showing the revolutions of the motor? Science needs to know. I could sit... If it really did interfere with the dish, I could just mess with my hubby's mind terribly. Turn it off and on while he's watching his TV. The picture stops and kind of pixelated the same way it does when the weather goes bad. Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah. But now I want to try again with it empty and see what's changing the speed does. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you were spinning, you wouldn't want to do that. But, and you're sure it wasn't the weather? Does the weather affect your antenna? Because I know exactly what you're talking about when it... We lose the satellite because of weather, because of the black clouds. We'll block the receiver, the thing that's out in the outside, pointing up to the sky. It'll block that with real dark storm clouds, so we do lose it for weather. Yeah, sometimes. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if anybody else has noticed that. Oh, I gotta move. I'll take a stretch break after this. That's done. Reasonably sure it was raining this morning, but it cleared right away every time I shut it back off. Yeah, I would say that's a good sign. Alright, so your antenna is set, what is it, RFs? Certain RFs? And the motor's putting out certain RFs? Something like that. Ooh, I got a new camera that is so tiny, it reminds me of a spy camera. We are planning cruises and a big one in 2022. And there was a super deal on this camera. And it came the other day, and I cannot believe how it's, it's got a waterproof case, and it's got all these different mounts. If you want to mess with that kind of thing, getting the right kind of picture, you can. It's like a GoPro. It's called an Extreme Pro, actually. But you can put it on your forehead, right? So, anyway, I'm quite excited. But I'm going to have to practice a lot. And it does do video, too. Before I take it on vacation. Make sure I know what I'm doing and what button to push. And it uses an itty bitty micro SD card. And we found one that we could put in, but I got to buy some bigger ones. And I don't know how I have to figure out how I'm going to get the pictures and everything off of the micro card, because I don't think any of my computers have slots for that. And I don't think there's a direct link cord that there's a cord that you can plug into a computer to charge. I don't know if it'll actually bring the computer up and connect with the camera. I haven't tried that yet. I just got it yesterday, so I haven't had time to mess with it. And I'm sure there's stuff I can read online about using even a GoPro. I've never had one, so I can probably learn from that. I'm a little bit of a photography bug. I mean, I really like taking pictures, and we have had lots of trips, and I have lots of photos, and it's hit and miss, right? I've just used a regular, reasonable Canon camera. I don't adjust. I want point and shoot. And this, I'm sure, is because there's just nothing to it. You couldn't adjust the lens. So that's going to be interesting too, to see what the level of photography it is. If it's set up specifically for video, maybe the stills won't be all that good. Fortunately, I'll be really, really honest with you. I paid under $50 for it. So it was a really good deal. Okay, this is an interest. Okay, I am on Pretzel's meditative channel, and now I see why they call it that. This song is 60 minutes, a whole hour long. That's perfect for meditation. I understand now why they have this channel. I'm gonna up the music a little bit, guys. Just turn your thing down. I don't think it'll be too loud, but I'm having trouble picking a station. Let's go with jazz. I thought the meditation channel's new, and I thought it might be just really nice, relaxing. Well, it is, but it's too monotonous. It's what you put on your headphones when you want to fall asleep or just drift. I'm definitely an advocate of meditation. I don't believe it has to be in traditional yogi poses. Alright, stretch break. I am so tired today. I've already said that a million times already. I am just so tired today. Okay, I need to oil this. It's just got this little tiny screech to it. Pretty faint, but I'm sure that means I need oil. Also, pull this in a little more. Much better. putting 2 bats on each bobbin. This bobbin here is already 2 bats that I did yesterday. I have a bobbin from the Ara that has 4 bats on it. I'm going to ply that way. One of these with, well, both of these with the big Ara bobbin. Frolic. It's a seriously lovely natural color. It is. That's I'll take a break here and show you what it looks like in the real life Lux. This is what it looked like before I did the drum carding and blended in. Let's get all 5 colors there. We got there's a tan right there. We got deep brown, a brown, light brown, dark brown. The cream color is pretty much the same, and then a gray. This is, goes this way. This is all over the sheep. Actually, these 2 are the same color. And there's not very much of that tan or the brown. But when I picked it apart, I put all the fiber into a bag and I just pulled handfuls out. And this is what it blended into. You're falling deeper in love with natural colors. The brightly hand-dyed colors are so tempting, but the naturals are just classic. And I'm 100% with you there. There's times where I buy a fleece because I just cannot not buy it for the color. White fleeces don't tempt me as much, but the colored ones sure do. Ah, that's even better. I oiled the back part of the bobbin shaft. That's what was rubbing a little bit. Boy, glad I found that. It's much happier now. Nope. Okay, need a little more pull in. It's getting too much twist. Now that I oiled it, now it's spinning happier. But getting too much twist. going thin. Get thicker. There we go. Bright neon colors. Let's hear it for bright neon colors. I tend to call them jewel tones, but I cannot resist that bright purples and greens. As you can tell, Veggie's a little partial to neon green. You love the darker jewel tones as well, but the naturals. Yep. But there is a lot of beauty to a natural, non-white wool that has dye, so that you get that undertone. That's also a really distinctly beautiful. So some, it just gives it a depth that you don't get dyeing the white. Zombie says for sure, yes. Sometimes you can tell. Sometimes you can't always tell, but unless you've done it yourself. But sometimes it's pretty clear what the dyer has done. Gonna be a short stream, guys, because I'm gonna quit after I do these. Probably KB is on. We'll go over and read her. This particular bat was pretty bad as far as it's not drum carded very, I mean, it didn't get homogenized. It's not the word I want, but there's just a lot of short fibers in it, and that has to do with the handfuls of that I grab, come from all over the fleece, so I get good and bad at the same time. If I haven't caught it already when I was picking it, it's an ongoing process. When you process a raw fleece, you pick it open before you wash it, and in that process you're going to pick out anything that's extremely dirty. You're going to pick open the fiber lock so that it gets washed, and you're going to discard anything that is extremely short that you don't think is going to process well. So that's the first time you're picking through it, and it's called picking for a reason. It really is called picking. After you wash it, it's going to be clumped together some. So you pick it again, and that's another opportunity to make a decision as to whether the fiber is acceptable. And I tend to err on the, I'll keep it in C side instead of, pitching a whole bunch of it. So when it's picked open that second time after it's been washed, then it's ready to be drum carded, and you just, depending on how you're drum carding, in my case I'm just grabbing handfuls of fiber and feeding it onto the drum. So I don't do much picking stuff out at that point, and some of it doesn't card in very well. It's one of the less favorite ways to process fiber for that reason. Non-commercially. Nothing wrong with commercial roving. I'm talking about home processing. Processing a fleece is on my list, but it'll be a while down the road. Let me tell you, it's addicting after a while, especially when you start looking at all the different fleeces and the different breeds and that sort of thing. I have done it for years. Probably shouldn't have separated that. It's easier to spin woolen the way I've been spinning, with some thickness to the width of the strip that you're spinning from. Well, that worked out pretty good. I fixed it. Oops, it's got thin there. But hi, Tuna Basil. I'm sorry to say I'm just about done with the stream, but stick around with me and we'll go see what KB's up to. How are you today? I'm glad you popped in too. Tomorrow I'll be on in the morning. My Eastern Standard Time, I'll probably do 10 to noon tomorrow. Sock Wizard, hi. I am. I'm finishing up. You've been lurking. Okay, well that's good. This is it. I have to apply it. But, and then I have to weigh it. I knew the weight of both of the CVMs before I started. I weighed it in grams, because the goal is 500 gram for the sweater spin. And I had 760, I think, grams pre-spun fiber. So I feel pretty confident I've not thrown away that much. I'm going to be able to make the goal. But I got to apply it, post it, apply it, weigh it, post it. I'm not going to wash it. I know that they say, I will eventually wash it, but I don't see that that's a requirement because it's already washed fiber. It's not going to lose weight when I wash. It's just going to change yardage, wraps per inch in yardage, but it's not going to lose weight. It is clean fiber, no heavy lanolin. So washing dishes and all. Oh, I have so not done housework. I did on Monday quite a bit on the day off. Not so much physical housework. I keep up with the dishes. I'm just talking about other stuff that you do less frequently. But anyway, Monday I had a list of nuisance phone contact, phone things I had to do, internet things I had to do, that kind of thing. And I felt pretty proud of getting that done. I was like, yeah. There was only one thing I was not able to get any resolution on. We have still not gotten our 2019 tax refund, because we did an amended, and because of the COVID 2020, and the website doesn't tell you anything, so I have to go through a tax advocate in order to get contact with the IRS and get information about what's going on. That one didn't happen. Nobody was wanting to talk that day. Isn't it a good feeling when you get some of that nuisance paperwork out of the way? And a lot of times it's not necessary. I mean, it's stuff that should happen normally and just isn't happening, right? Because of the crazy COVID. The whole world's shutting down. Now I have fiber that is what I have been pulling out, you know, and the real short stuff, the nubs and that kind of stuff's been going in the trash. But I have this handful. Oh, it's a pretty good handful left over. Let me get it down here in the camera. So, you know, worst case scenario, I can get some more yardage if I need it, or weight if I need it. This, you know, it's pretty on the bobbin, but it really is prettier as a skein. It's really cushy, and I like the way it looks as a yarn. So I'm gonna love knitting with it. Probably use size 8 or 9 needle. And I'll probably get when I do all the last plying of this, I'll probably end up with some yardage that'll be enough to do a swatch. You know, just a short amount. That leftover bit. Veggie says, "Woof." Tuna says, "That's what I had to do. I had to work with some combing waste to get the weight." Did you really? You were that close? Oh my goodness. Oh, you have me nervous again, but I think it'll be all right. You had so much more to do. I mean, you had to get the yardage because you were doing the single. You lost more than you thought when you washed your fiber. Oh. You mean weight or... Oh, yeah, to get the weight. Well, yeah, you do lose weight. A lot of weight with the lanolin. They say you can lose up to 50% of a fleece between the fleece weight between the lanolin and the you know, shortcuts and things that it's too dirty or whatever. Let's weigh this. Alright, I gotta get my notes. This bobbin was 2.95 ounces. The bobbin itself, 2.95. So let me write that down. And that's the other thing. I've been working in ounces on everything, so I have to convert it to grams before I submit it. Here's the 3 skeins of the dark I have so far. I should get 4 more skeins out of, oops, let me get in the camera, out of what I'm going to apply. Tuna Basil says, yep, and my fleeces are all a bit dirty, so I lost it in vegetable manner too. They are, you know what, they're not super squishy. They are chunky, sturdy. You know what I'm saying? They're soft and they look squishy, but there's a lot of stiffness. It will probably do pretty good stitch definition, except it's pretty thick. And I'm not sure I want to do, but I might do a real, there might be a real basic cabling, and it would show pretty good, I think, with this yarn, because it's not like gonna get all smooshed in when it gets knitted. I think it's gonna hold its own. So I'm real happy with it. 4.93 with two bats on there. 4.93. Well, why couldn't that be 9.5? And then it would have been even 2 ounces. So it's just a hundredth of a 200th of a percent underneath 2 ounces. I'm going to count that and say 2 ounces. 4.9 and 2.9. Sturdy is good in a sweater. Yeah, really. I would hope so. What I really want is warm. Let me go here. Because I am just like so sick of being cold in the wintertime. I was like, I want to be warm. Thank you all for all of this. The 3 weeks has been awesome. Hasn't it? Talking and chatting and spinning and making our goals, working on it. I have loved it. And that doesn't mean I'm not back, but I will be back Friday morning, tomorrow morning, and Saturday and Sunday. And then I'm going to go back to the 3 days a week. So, at different times. I'll turn the music off. Let's see what's happening on Twitch. Oh. Before I do that, yesterday I poofed, right? I did come back and say goodbye, but it was on the Be Right Back screen for quite a while because I ended up with a really, really long phone call. My mom's in the hospital, and a physical therapist was calling and talking about what their plans are and that sort of thing. And it's not the kind of physical therapy you're thinking. It's not her arms or legs or anything like that. She is having difficulty swallowing. And they are going to, she's had this for 3 years, and they are going to go ahead and put a feeding tube in her stomach so that she can get some nutrition. She has just lost way too much weight. And she is healthy enough otherwise that she has the potential of having some few more years if she gets some nutrition in her. So that's what she's in the hospital for, and that's what she's doing. And I got a call from the speech therapist, who actually has a lot to do with that swallowing process also, more so than, as well as the speech, and had gone to mom's swallow test. And in her swallow test, if you're familiar with anatomy, there is a flap that covers your esophagus and flips over and covers your windpipe when you go to swallow so that the food can go down the esophagus. And it flips 100% of the time, or 100% open, right? There's no problem with it. It's automatic, and mom's won't do that anymore. It was barely opening 10%. It just was barely moving off of the esophagus, which is why she could hardly ever get food down. So that is the story of my mom. She's got good spirits. She's made the decision to get the feeding tube, and she'll have 3 weeks of assisted rehab living to teach her how to use it and all that, so she can go back to being independent, because she lives independently alone at her house, and that's what she wants. So it's going to happen tomorrow morning, and she's down in Florida, right? It's not something I'm going to be gone to or anything like that. I will be streaming to distract me, as she is going through that. So that's a little bit of real life for me, and just the fact that yesterday I totally got a phone call right in the stream that I just said totally twice. Is that not so California? Along with the so. I knew I had to take that phone call. So, anyway, I came back. I talked a little bit about it, um, but I apologize. I know most of you had gone on. So, your Frolic says, well, Tuna Basil says it's been a great 3 weeks. It has been. It really has. And Frolic says, my mom is a speech language pathologist. Swallowing difficulties are honestly fairly common and fairly tough to deal with. Exactly. She has had her throat stretched a number of times. The GI doctor that did that never once suggested looking at her esophagus flap through a swallow test. It took a speech pathologist like your mom to say, have you had this test? Why haven't you had this test? Let's get this test, and call the doctor and say, why can't she have this test, right? And so they put her in the hospital, one, to get her hydrated, some nutrients. She's not really gotten nutrients yet, but and assess this situation way better than they were just on occasional doctor visits, and she's got a good prognosis, I think. Tuna Basil says, I hope the feeding tube can help out her swallowing. Nutrition is so important. That sounds like great news. She even has the slight hope that as her other muscles build, because they get the nutrition into her, that esophagus will start building, and she can go back to, she can swallow like itty bits, right? But and she does, in order to keep everything hydrated and not drying out and everything. But she's not going to have to depend on that to get her nutrition. And that's really, really important. So she had her birthday yesterday, and this was all the news she got on her birthday. Bless her heart. But she also had a wonderful birthday. Everybody around her in the staff said happy birthday. They came in and they sang to her. They brought balloons. Other people called or visited or sent flowers. So she was well treated for her birthday. And it was her 93rd birthday. Bless her heart. Long life. I hope she has more years, because she's a special lady. Okay, let's go see what if KB's on. Yep. I'm gonna rate her. She's flying.
There's a glitch going on. Are you on a
Yeah, she's flying. Okay. And she's playing Stream Raiders, so that's good. I probably won't stick around though. I need to move around for a little bit. So I will see you tomorrow morning. You all enjoy your visit with KB.
I can report the issue if I know exactly what the issue is, and let them know.
Bye.
You did that twice.